Hi everyone. So we'll be starting with the panel discussion now. I'd like to give you an introduction about our panelists. So we have with us Dr. Tim and Seshnie from Stone and Chalk, and we also have with us Seshnie Taylor, who is the Community and Startup Manager. Yeah, okay. So just a brief introduction about who they are and what they do. Let's ask Tim. So Tim, can you tell us something about yourself and what you do at Stone and Chalk?
Sure. I'll tell you something about myself. I have a 2.5-month-old little boy called Ravi, who's absolutely delicious. But that's why I'm a little bit tired. I've got a bit of a sore back because I'm sleeping on a couch, so don't mind me. Oh, you mean something about my job? Oh, okay. Hi everyone, my name's Tim. I am the Director of Ecosystems at Stone and Chalk, so I get to work with the lovely Seshnie Taylor here. Stone and Chalk is an innovation startup hub on North Terrace in Lot 14, which is one of South Australia's innovation precincts, which we can talk about a little bit soon. But every day I get to work with really inspiring people that want to make a big difference in the world, and they work with technology in really smart ways to solve those problems. And they're really smart because they realise that they're going to make a bigger difference when they go on that journey with others. So my job is really to find lots and lots of good eggs, there's an Australian term for you, good people to support them on their journey to grow. So they might be investors, they might be customers, they could be government or corporate customers of those startups, they might be experts and mentors, or they might even be employees. So we've already spoken to some of you already. They might be looking for people to grow and they need good eggs to go on their journey with them. So my job is just to find good people, collect them, and then bring them into a place where they can make magic happen.
That's beautiful. And congratulations on having Ravi. Okay, Seshnie, I would like to know something about your journey and how you, started with Stone and Chalk and what you do.
Absolutely. Okay, good morning everyone. So I guess my journey is also a little bit unusual. Just as a side note, I have a 1-year-old, so I'm also a little bit sleep deprived, but here we are, thank God for coffee. So basically my journey to South Australia has been quite unusual. We could describe it as an arrow. I actually used to live and work in China. I've lived and worked in 5 different countries, so born in South Africa, grew up in England, worked in France, volunteered in Bolivia, studied and worked in China, and now we're here in Adelaide. So a bit of a whirlwind journey, but I've always followed what I love to do, which was languages and connecting and helping people, and that has really been my mission. So at Stone and Chalk, I've got an amazing honour and privilege to work there, helping to look after the 60 startups that we have to help them find talent, to help them connect them to investors, connect them to expertise, and really build and nurture our community. So it's a fantastic place to be, and I highly recommend that you guys come on to Stone and Chalk, to Lot 14, and come and see what's going on.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Seshnie. I think that was very insightful. So what do we actually do at Stone and Chalk? How can students benefit from it? What is actually happening on there?
We drink a lot of coffee. I think we would all go crazy without that. So what we have in the building, we have sort of 4 floors. So on the ground floor is where we have all of our community gatherings. So we'll have events, we'll have learning events, we'll have networking events. Many of them are open to the public, so you're all welcome to come along. Check out our website, sign up for events, and see the things that kind of are of interest to you. So the ground floor, we actually have a lot of open working when we don't have events, and that's open to anyone to come and work from there. We have free Wi-Fi, free coffee. It is Monday morning, that's why it's front of mind for us. And what we have on the ground floor is a lot of people across the precincts. So on Lot 14, there's lots of different emerging technology businesses, organisations and individuals. There's 1,500 people. In our building we have about 250 maximum. But all of those people come to us to network and connect and meet people doing different things. So on Lot 14 we have lots around space technology. So that's actually where Tanu and I met, because she was working for a space tech startup. which is also a biotech startup, very interesting, that's another story. But also we have a lot around artificial intelligence, so we have an Institute of Machine Learning next door with the University of Adelaide, so that's a connection there. We have the Australian Space Agency there, we have lots of other technology companies, all of them come into our space to connect and get coffee. Sometimes we have free food too, that helps bring people. But on the top 3 floors, we have the places where our startups actually work. So they have open plan working, they have small offices, and that's kind of where a lot of that kind of working on the business happens. But on the ground floor is where they start to think about how they can help their business to grow through the networking, through the learning and things like that. So that's kind of what happens in Lot 14 in our building.
Okay, that is amazing. Thank you so much for that, Tim. So you mentioned a lot about entrepreneurship and innovation, and we know that quite a lot of that is happening in Adelaide. So I've met a lot of people over here right now who are interested in taking that leap of entrepreneurship. I want to ask you guys, there's a bit of apprehension on how to start, how to go about it, the importance of networking when you're trying to be an entrepreneur. Can you walk us through that journey that you guys have faced or seen someone grow in that, and especially an international student who might have made it and started their own venture over here?
Yeah, so I'll just tackle maybe the first part of that question about how to actually get started. So just sort of raise your hand. Who's got a really exciting idea that they want to turn into a business? Anybody? Yeah, a couple of people, cool. So I would highly recommend, I studied languages and international relations at uni, and I didn't actually think that I was qualified to do a business. I never used the word entrepreneur, but I actually founded my own company in China, and I ran that for 4 years. And I was so shocked that I could do that without being qualified or not, nobody told me that I could do that. I just gave it a go. The most important thing that I found was that you have to build something that already has clients, has people testing it. So before you're designing a website or spending money on branding, the first and foremost is testing your idea and seeing what your client needs. So I did a languages home tutoring company, and that was high in demand. Ended up doing that more than my day job, and so I quit my day job and then just grew from there. In 4 years, I had a turnover of almost $1 million, and I couldn't believe it in that short time that somebody like me who wasn't qualified to do that had an idea, tested it, and just went with it. So I'd recommend that you do that. But more excitingly, I think we can share a local example of somebody who studied at the University of Adelaide. Perhaps Ravi, you want to touch on that? Cool.
Sure. And then I'll talk about another work opportunity for all of you, which might be interesting. But one of our residents, his name is Ravi, the same name as my child. It was not named after him. It was just a coincidence, but it is a really beautiful name. It means dawning sun. My son was born at sunrise, so that's why he's called that. For anyone with an Indian background, they would know that. So he came to South Australia to study biomedical research. That was his background. He was born and studied in Hyderabad. He did his undergraduate there, and then due to a personal experience with his family, he was thinking about how he could make a contribution to medical research. So he got into a course at the University of Adelaide, and when he was here, he discovered this thing called entrepreneurship, which is kind of a bit of a crazy word. But while he was doing his study, he heard about these places where he could do a course and learn about how you might build a new business model that hasn't been done before. So I think it was something about parking meters was where he started. It didn't really go anywhere, but what he did learn was around how to create a business from the bottom up, just with the idea of a problem in the world that you might be able to solve in a new way. So he didn't become a parking meter expert at all, but what he did discover is that South Australia is a great place if you're interested in space technology, which is kind of weird because why would that be even the case? But when he was very young, he had a love of space. So he brought together his research and study around biomedical research with his young passion for space. And he had this idea that you could test drugs in space. So that became the beginning of his business, which he founded through a program in South Australia. He started with the E-Challenge at the University of Adelaide. He went on to UniSA, they have the International Collaboration Centre where he started the business. And now he has actually launched these small little test kits on rockets into space to test drugs, being paid for by big pharmaceutical companies, and that's his business now. It's called ResearchSat. And it all started with his passion for space as a young boy in his country in India, his experience with biomedical research and the promise of that with the health crisis at home, and then a curiosity in South Australia to be able to explore what might be that doesn't exist yet. And I think that's what's really amazing about something unique about the South Australian innovation ecosystem, is you can actually be exposed to this really amazing thinking, these problems that you might be able to solve, but it's not just the expertise from your study, but also the kinds of business thinking that you need to make it into something. So there's two things there. One, only a couple of people put their hand up to start a business, and maybe you're not thinking about that now. But what I encourage you to think about is, what is a problem from your home country that you see around you that has gone unsolved? And maybe you are the person that is best placed to maybe solve that. Now, South Australia has lots of different experiences and communities where you can take that problem, that idea, that kind of curiosity, and nurture that into potentially a new business. So that through University of South Australia, University of Adelaide and Flinders Uni, all have programs that are open to all of you to go and explore. That's one thing. The second thing is, that idea might come in the future for you, but doing some learning or education around entrepreneurship and innovation and problem solving will be a skill set that will set you up for life. So how many of you here are looking for a job? Okay. How many of you would be interested to work for a company that's doing something that's making a real difference in the world? Great, fantastic, okay. So we have lots of those companies in our community. But if you, alongside your studies that you do now, if you went and learned about entrepreneurship through the Think Lab at University of Adelaide, at UniSA there's the International Collaboration Centre. At Flinders Uni you have the New Venture Institute down at Tonsley. Those places will give you exposure to a different way of thinking about how you might solve those problems. And no matter what job you have, an entrepreneurial mindset will help you to be successful and succeed and make you stand out from other candidates.
That is very, very beautiful, and I think that is so insightful. It is very important to understand the importance of entrepreneurship, because there are some problems that we need to be creative about, and to get that experience and hands-on experience is very important. Seshnie, do we have something to add on to that?
Wow, I think Tim said that so well, very, very eloquently. I would also just say, guys, know yourself really well, and recognize that your experience of being born in another country is your superpower. You have a different lens, you have that perspective, you have that determination to make it work. I also came to Adelaide actually on a working holiday visa at the start of COVID. And my partner and I were here with our master's degrees that didn't count for anything. And nobody wanted to talk about sponsorship at that time, and it was really scary. Instead, we thought, what do we have? We have our health, we have our mindsets, and we would roll up our sleeves and do any kind of work to make it work here. And now, almost 4 years later, we have permanent residency here in Adelaide. So that, guys, is a journey. Don't wait for somebody to give you that job or give you that opportunity. Sometimes you can find your way in through different visa streams. You can find your way in through doing good work for companies that are willing to take that plunge and sponsor you. There are opportunities. It is a mind game. Be persistent. Don't give up. You are studying such great subjects. I've met so many people here this morning who are doing incredible things. AI, data scientists. These are the skills that the state needs. These are the skills that the world needs. So just go out there, don't give up. That is my biggest tip to you, and also network like crazy. Adelaide is all about who you know, and my partner and I got our first job from somebody who wasn't even advertising to hire anyone. We always say seek is where jobs go to die. So don't apply and seek. Go and meet people face to face and tell them about your skills, tell them about your superpowers.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Seshnie. That was an amazing session, and I think we got some amazing, interesting insights from you guys.